Jason, are we ready online?
Somebody just
I had a town call me, and they were going to hire people to do work. I told them I can't recommend them.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome visitors and guests to the second meeting of May for the City of Mount Vernon City Council. And after calling the meeting to order, I need to address the second item, which is agenda approval and any additions. And there are a couple of things there that we need to address. There's still no movement on the emergency management services vote, so basically E1 and then the corresponding G1 will be tabled again, I guess is where we're at. But there's some hope that it will happen relatively soon there. So that's one change in the agenda. Second change in the agenda, I think there are people here for H1, so we'll probably move that to after the consent agenda. That is what I would propose at this point.
That sounds great.
Anything else I should be addressing with the agenda? Okay.
I would move approval of the movement of H1 to after the consent agenda.
Take a vote.
Second.
Moved and seconded to make the agenda with a couple of changes. If you're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Next part of the agenda is communications. If there's anyone here to address subjects pertaining to today's agenda, just wait until that comes up on the agenda time. And if you're here to address something that's not on the agenda, now's the time to come forward for public comment and do that at the podium here. So anyone here to address the council that's on some topic that's not on the agenda? And I'll move forward to the consent agenda. Got two items there. So what will the council on those two?
I would move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thanks, Craig. Is there a second?
Second.
Mark? Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. And all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Next item we've moved up is H1, which is listing as the mayoral proclamation. Proclamation for celebrating the Mount Vernon Middle School Science Olympiad team. And good to see representatives from the group here. Anyone like to speak to that before I start? Oh, that's good. Students. I don't know. It's not advisors or anything. And if you don't have anything, that's fine.
Ray is fine.
Councilperson Hanson Player brought this to my attention and was very diligent about writing this proclamation. Hopefully you guys have input on that. And so we'll go from there. So we'll read this in, and we've already talked to press with Nathan about getting this in the sun. It's a proclamation for celebrating the Mount Vernon Middle School Science Olympiad team. Whereas founded in 1984, Science Olympiad is the leading team STEM competition in the nation, providing standards-based challenges to 7,000 teams at 450 tournaments in all 50 states. And whereas the Science Olympiad is a nationwide competition in which students are challenged in standards-based events that include earth science, biology, chemistry, physics, and engineering. Science Olympiad is designed to increase a student's interest in STEM fields and provide recognition for outstanding achievements in team events. And whereas one of the nation's most prestigious team competitions, Science Olympiad, includes topics touching every part of STEM. The students participating at the national tournament consist of 120 teams, which have won their state contests, narrowing the field from a cohort of nearly 7,000 teams. And whereas the Science Olympiad National Tournament is the pinnacle of achievement for 120 of the country's best Science Olympiad teams, representing more than 2,000 students. 42nd Annual Science Olympiad National Tournament will be hosted by the University of Southern California on May 22nd, 23rd, 2026 in Los Angeles, California. And whereas the Mount Vernon Middle School Science Olympiad team won the state competition for Iowa and is now going on to the national competition in California and will represent not only Mount Vernon, but the whole state of Iowa at this prestigious academic competition. Now therefore, I, Thomas M. Weisler, Mayor of the City of Mount Vernon, Iowa, do hereby proclaim May 22nd to 23rd, 2026, Science Olympiad Days in the City of Mount Vernon, and encourage all residents to join in recognizing this great achievement of these students at the Mount Vernon Middle School. And in witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of Mount Vernon on this 18th day of May 2026, and with my signature to come. So if you want a signed copy of this, it'll be in my mailbox in a couple days at City Hall, but you've got other things to worry about between now and then.
Congratulations. Have fun.
Represent us well. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy knows I followed middle school or Science Olympia for multiple years, probably 25 years or so, and it was hosted in April and Cedar Rapids for multiple years. So very involved with that. So.
Thank you.
Yep. I think we're to E2, public hearing and proposal to enter into a development agreement with Mustang Land Company LLC. I'm officially going to public hearing at this point. And see if there's anybody here to speak to that at this point. No one here to speak to that. I will close the public hearing and then move to G2. Resolution 5-18-2026A, approving and authorizing execution of a development agreement by and between the City of Mount Vernon and Mustang Land Company LLC. Movement on that process.
It's a 5-year SIP rebate deal. I don't know. Just Sherman wasn't here when I think they did the original, but everybody else I think was here when they put forward the document.
So this is a resolution for approval. What is the little bit?
There are no further readings.
No.
Then I would move approval of resolution 5-18-2026A.
Second. Thank you, Craig and Paul. Move to second to move forward 5-18-2026A. And this is a roll call vote, so Marcia, if you're ready.
Turler,
Yes.
Hanson Player, yes. Engel,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
That resolution passes. Item G3 is a resolution 5-18-2026B, providing the new no parking zone designations within the City of Mount Vernon, Iowa. Thanks for the explanation of why that brought us to this place.
People have been parking there for a long time. Certainly, but it's accentuated now that all that activity's there. So yeah, I see why this is happening.
It's not pretty smooth here.
Yep.
So since it says, should not be treated as overnight parking, so are we saying that they have to move everything at night, or?
So what we currently have is, they're commercial streets, and we don't typically allow street parking on our commercial streets anyway. We had a portion of Virgil that was basically a dead end past Mercy, and then Minish, which is a new street that we haven't addressed, where we had individuals parking tractor trailers.
For their snooze break.
Yeah, we had some that were parking them overnight.
4 days.
Door days. It came to light, obviously, with the construction on Rachel. But, like I said, for all commercial streets in the community outside of the uptown, we don't typically allow parking on either side.
I move approval of resolution 5-18-2026B for no parking designations for both Virgil and Minish Avenue Southeast.
Second. Thank you, Paul and Mark. Move to second to move forward with 5-18-2026B. And that is a roll call vote. Just again, Marcia.
Anderson,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Hanson Player,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
That resolution passes. Moving on to J1, motions for approval. I'll just send out the most recent update this afternoon. questions of staff or anything to go on? Comments?
I'll move to approve the claims list.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second.
Sheree? That's what you heard. Moving second to move forward with the approval of the claims list. And that's a voice vote. If we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J2, access control at City Hall. Access control replacement at City Hall.
My report stated the lesser of the two values, but staff is seeking the ability to go up to 5,500, 5501.14 to be exact, instead of the 47,998.69. The access control systems, when City Hall was done prior to COVID, it was a proprietary system. At that time, we hadn't purchased the police station. It had just gotten the LVC open, and it was kind of it's a separate building, but we are trying to consolidate access control. Let's carry one key fob to all of the buildings. I think we're going to be able to eventually accomplish this goal with the exception of the LVC, and that's because it has not just staff, it's patrons. So that one's probably always going to be a little bit separate, but just kind of make it easier for staff, and then obviously having less keys to handle.
Don't want the big ring like the janitors used to carry.
Well, the issue really is it all kind of came to light when our insurance, ICAP, sent the appraiser out. And of course, I was the one going to each of these buildings, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know which key goes to like what. So we're rectifying that situation, and then this kind of came to light. But the front door, if you go out the front door onto First, what is up above is a rather large magnet that's how the doors stay locked, and it's been failing as of late. So there's been a couple times staff has left the building after shutting lights off, and people have been in the back rooms or something like that after hours, and it's an unsettling feeling, obviously. So we were needing to fix that anyway, and it's a much better idea to go ahead and fix the entire system on the routine.
This only pertains to City Hall, though,
Correct.
at the moment.
Yes.
And the end goal is to have one key fob for all of these, with maybe the exception of the LDC. Which
Correct.
also for security is good because they know who has which key fob and who's going to Public Works or who's going to the police station. Or,
So with what you're fixing on City Hall with the key fobs, will you be able to tell who keyed in at what time and keyed out?
We still can, but it's just a separate system at each location. So RC Tech has done work at Public Works and knows the back-end system of the PD. We made sure when we did the PD that we didn't have a proprietary system. City Hall was, like I said, done during COVID, and trying to find a contractor period was difficult.
With what you're proposing to do at City Hall right now, will it be a gateway to these further steps you want to do? We won't have to redo City Hall to make it
No.
compliant with the others.
No, I can never say never. Obviously, something bad has happened. RC Tech has gone out of business, or the company that they service, like I said, this is all non-proprietary stuff. But if they happen to go out of business, then there's always potential. But we are going what we feel is the safest route, given the current circumstances right now.
But, I mean, regardless of RC Tech, sorry, whatever it's called, our RC Tech goes out of business, the software and the digitization they're putting in, it should be able to go forward to work with other buildings. And the fobs, the systems you're gonna be putting in here should be able to go forward to use with other buildings.
Yeah, a much larger business would have to go out to business. There's always potential. I don't ever want to say never, because I don't want to be here 5
No,
years from now.
I understand that. I'm just saying that,
This is
it looks
the,
like a great system
Yeah.
you're wanting to do here, but it won't be, like, oh, but it only works at City Hall, and now we have to redo the whole thing within a few years to be able to make it work with all the other buildings.
no, as a matter of fact, that's what we started with PD, it's the newest system. And Public Works, the pool.
It's the opposite way around. This is the only, basically the only piece left.
So
Okay, so.
that's what I was trying to find. Thank you.
Any other questions to staff on this? And was it 5501? Do you want to go more than?
550148.
Was that a motion or?
Yes, that is a
Federal
motion.
14.
I will move to approve, yes, the consideration of the access control replacement for City Hall at 550148, or whatever change.
Is there a second?
Second.
Paul, moving seconded to move forward the access control replacement process for City Hall. If there are no further comments about that, let's vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Item J3 is a discussion and consideration of change order number 2 with Ratchet Construction on the Rachel Street improvement.
An actual deduct of $1,837.50.
I will move to approve change order number 2 for the Rachel Construction project, deducting $1,837.50.
likes that.
I can see conventional seats.
Craig and Mark on that, moved and seconded. Yes, difference between hydro seating and conventional seating is raw. Moved and seconded to move forward with change order number 2 with Ratchet Construction. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Next is discussion and consideration of the application number 6 with Ratchet Construction, the Rachel Street improvement.
Just saved 0.5% of this.
I move approval of pay application number 6, Rachel Street Construction Project in the amount of $229,110.58.
Thank you, Paul.
I'll second.
Okay. Paul Shereens, moved and seconded to move forward with the application number 6 with Ratchet Construction. Just a question in general here. How is that process going from on time, on task? No.
Good right now. There's one lane that is completely done.
Only
And,
through.
their deadline, I believe, is the end of June, so knock on wood. There should be plenty of time to complete all the other tasks. They did get general approval from the DOT to use that secondary farm access just to the south of where Rachel Street will be. So Quickstar was really chomping at the bit to get into the site. They're super early. They weren't going to start till mid-November of this year, and they were in there in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they've got footings and foundations poured already for the building.
Almost all the way around.
Yeah.
The outline is there.
So,
Okay. Anything else to share with the project? No, we've got a motion on the floor here. We're ready to vote on application number 6, Ratchet. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J5 is discussion and consideration of the electrical service upgrades for gas detection system. Nelson Electric.
$11,372. When the original panel and electrical wiring were run for this building, it wasn't the expectation that we would be obviously full-scale operations out of it. So safety being paramount, the gas detection system is needed, and of course we have to upgrade the panel to make sure it operates properly.
So
So the fans and the louvers have been installed already. You guys approved that already, but we just have to connect all of that stuff. So there's detection devices, alarms, a couple horns, I think.
Minor safety issues, right?
Yeah, yep.
And necessary. With that, I'll move to approve the consideration of the electric service upgrades for gas detection system at Public Works.
Thank you, Mark. And is there a second? Second. Paul, moving second to move forward the electrical upgrades, public work sites. And if we're ready to vote on that, everybody vote, if you vote in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The motion carries. Next, discussion consideration of a tree donation, October 10th edition, council action as needed.
So this was an interesting request. I believe Rory Weeble has actually purchased lot 20 of Parkview Court and was on the Park and Rec Committee board for a number of years, wants to donate trees. I had Matt take this in front of Park and Rec board because I didn't want to come here initially and then have you just refer it back and add a couple weeks to the process. So they did obviously look at it and recommended in favor. I did put in my report, I have some reservations. I'm going to share those reservations. It has nothing to do with not wanting to plant trees, but Outlot C, where all of these trees are going to sit, where the bike trail is that you see, is also a siltation basin. And what that means is during the subdivision, those eventual stormwater detention areas operate as a way to catch silt from the construction process at the same time. The issue is, depending on the amount of silt that is collected in areas on Outlot C, the developer has to go back and then certify that the elevations that are current meet what was designed. And in some cases, they have to go and scrape dirt and do some earthwork in order to make that happen. Not saying it will or won't, but the trees that are being requested should be close enough to the trail to not necessarily be an issue. My understanding, Rory's already purchased the trees.
Does Rory know about this reservation?
Well, yeah, he's going to know about this reservation, but he has purchased the trees already. It's really not on us, the developer is the one that has to go back in and scrape and reseed, so it just makes their life a little bit more complicated, but.
It may be in here and I missed it, but who's installing the trees? Who's planting the trees?
He has offered to plant them.
Yeah, since that reservation that you have is duly noted and not of a particular doom and gloom, what action do we need to take here?
So there is a formal vote of allowing him to do this. It is city property if you want to allow the donation to happen. And like I said, if he's forewarned about the fact that it could complicate or there is potential for trees to have to be moved in the future, that's a possibility of it happening, I guess.
So if he, say, just plants the trees 2 feet over, is he not in city property?
No. So the only two trees that he's proposing on his lot are the two green,
And they're already planted.
yeah, in the corners. The
So
rest
he
of
didn't
them
need our
are on
approval for
city
that.
property.
Pardon me?
He didn't need our approval.
No,
for that.
it's on his property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all of the yellow and the redbud, the oaks, magnolia tree, and the birch are all on city property.
So if you were to plant all the yellow and red dots on the other side, then he'd be fine.
He would have to get it on his lot. It wouldn't be. He's doing this to, in my opinion, enhance the trail.
Sure.
Like I said, which I commend, but I would really be concerned about where he's got the future trees. I'm concerned about the westernmost northern red oak on the south side. You can't move them any closer to the bike trail because I don't necessarily want to contend with tree roots on the trail itself either.
No. What size are these trees at the time of planting? Do we know?
They're not large, they're saplings almost, they're small.
But then their potential
There
is
is
how
potential.
large?
They will grow big.
Yeah, that's the
They're
intent.
25 feet
So,
apart.
so
Yeah.
based upon, it really comes down to we're looking at
If the subdivision builds up in the next 5 years, and they would have to do some work, they would be easily transplanted.
transplant, but past the 5 years.
But beyond that, you never know, because once they get to the, the 2 or 3 inch caliber,
Right.
especially when it comes to oaks. But
Any thought on how quickly he wants to move on the future trees if these are approved?
the future trees would come with this, the warning that I wouldn't even entertain.
I was going to say that, we could use this as, not just a test, but to do this and see how they mature and say, don't put any future trees in there for several years, but,
So here's the thing, I just want to go on record
yeah, I know.
to make the statement at a public meeting that
Yeah.
there is this potential. It may not happen.
Yep.
There's quite a bit of a slope up to where that bike trail is, and that slope may not have to be disturbed.
Agreed. So with the city administrator's concern noted, I would move approval of the current but not future tree donation without further approval for those of the proposed donation for the Stonebrook 10th edition.
I have a quick question.
No, I'll second, no.
I'll second that.
Mark?
Okay.
No.
Just a quick question. So when we're talking about the silt work and stuff, that would have to be done by the scraping and stuff by the developer. There's no way that, so let's say these trees are planted, they're still, they still must do that work, or can they get out of that?
No,
Okay, so they must.
they're completely separate.
Okay.
So the siltation basin, or using the detention center's basins as a siltation basin, is part of their SWIP, storm water pollution prevention plan, that they have to file with the state of Iowa. It was part of the approval process of the subdivision itself when they were both approved. So no,
Okay.
us, even if the city went and put a bunch of grass seed down there, they're still required to certify it at the end.
And I appreciate the fact that you noted your concern and especially noted future trees, because that's good. The other part of that is with growth. We hope for continued growth as it currently is, and within a 5-year period, we may not have a concern that we do today. The other part of that is having these trees may help with some of the mitigation of some infiltration.
Quick clarifying question, these are all trees that are on our approved list for city trees?
They're not on, so we moved away from the approved tree list and just, we adopted basically a tree list that you
Don't plant.
can't plant. The magnolia tree is the only tree, although it's probably the most beautiful of all of the trees that are there. Is the one that we don't particularly allow in the right of way just because of the flowering that occurs. On the backside here, to be quite honest with you, it's going to end up in his yard based upon normal wind blowing, so don't have as big of a concern.
Did you say it's gonna end up in his yard?
Mhm.
So it can't go where it's located?
No, what I'm saying is, when the magnolia drops its flowers, the petals will
Oh,
typically, because the wind is out of the
Oh,
west to east, it's going to end up in his yard, and that's fine by me.
okay.
Are we at risk for any other resident for doing that, in fact, if we allow that to be planted?
We have, so, interesting that you say that. We are working with a resident that actually planted 10 pin oaks, unfortunately in a very bad location on a siltation basin. Just,
So not on their property?
no.
Well, hello.
Well, yes, the comment was, when we asked why they did not plant them on their property, it's like, well, we didn't want to lose any more of our space.
In their yard.
So they just planted them on the city. They are oaks. That landowner has been given an ultimatum to either get them moved or they will just come in and cut them off. But they are right on the bank of a basin, and that will destabilize that particular basin with the tree roots. So
That's too bad.
to answer your question, we are still struggling. I don't know if there's a YouTube channel out there or what, but we are struggling with people planting things on property that they do not own. We ran into that obviously when we did the dirt work around Stonewood Park. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and continue to battle those steps, keep our eyes open. Like, you're gonna know if and when they have to do any work in these basins, because anytime it gets mowed, my phone is ringing off of it. So if they have to start scraping silt out of this, it will be a nightmare scenario for the city regardless.
Just have them press 9 to go to the answer.
They don't particularly care for the fact that this is how it was set up. It wasn't, obviously it wasn't explained when they bought their house or a lot. So,
Thanks for the question, though, Elvis. Getting back your way. Got a motion on the floor to approve the consideration of the tree donation in this process here. And if we are ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Reports to be received, beginning with police.
Obviously in our packet, the reconciliation and the budget expense report fell before the reports to be received, so.
Yeah, it did.
That's a lengthy one, too.
How'd Grom look in his cap and gown?
Really good. Steve says Grom's probably faster than Monster was, so he's a really good dog. That went to his certifications last week, so yeah. Did really
Faster speed-wise or faster
Speed.
intellectually?
good. Speed right now. But they said he is really smart too. So.
he is smart. He is
I would imagine.
ornery, but
He's still younger now as a working dog than Monster ever was. So when we had Monster, he was an older. He started older, so he's still got a lot. Grom still has a lot of puppy in him. So
So does my 6-year-old dog.
You have a question for Chief? How about Public Works? Board share it open. Thanks for the pictures as well.
I just want to make a comment. I think Total Tree does an excellent job everywhere that they've worked in my neighborhood and everywhere I see them. They just do an excellent job, and I want it noted that it's appreciated by the residents.
They're easy to work with. Yep. They do a great job.
Thank you from Mr. Saders, Parks and Rec.
Looks like it's a good spring so far. What is garbage duty being a topic of discussion?
Garbage duty, what does that mean? That means picking up all the garbage from all the slobs at Chocolate Walk.
Yeah.
I thought it was your employees, like when I used to work there, not wanting to take the garbage out.
No, there's just a lot of up and down between the streets festival, I mean, the whole festival being spread out, there's a lot of garbage,
Yeah,
and it wears on people.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
We did not compost this year because of the pressure that it puts on people, and you can't find anybody that wants to do it. So we're talking about it. We'll have a meeting this Wednesday and converse about that as a topic among others. So
By the way, it crossed my social media, and I don't know if it was the City of Mount Vernon social media page or Jesse Thurns, CDG, about the city administrator from Georgia that came up here, was at Chocolate Walk, and had a really nice paragraph that he or she wrote for that, saying what a wonderful community. And are they related to Andy or the Box or something? They said you own the hardware store?
Yeah, I
The
think
relatives?
so. She actually sent an email to myself, so we've done some exchanges. I told her, invited her to City Hall the next time that she comes up, and she subsequently invited us to City Hall. It's a suburb of Atlanta, I believe.
But really,
Have a sister city.
really nice comment though for folks that would work in Chocolate Walk.
So,
Nothing about garbage.
Okay, nothing else about Parks and Rec? Cole Library report. Got 18 this time. Ready to move?
no, I just want to say on the Cole Library report, sometimes I think Grace actually combines 2 months. I went back and looked at her last one, so she had combined into 2 months, so I'll just have to keep a closer eye on that.
There's a nice flyer up around, uptown too. Gives you a clue as to what's coming up this summer.
Their summer programs are going, I see her frequently. She asked if she needs to go to come to these meetings, and I've not been pushing that, so at this point, if there's a need for council to have her there, we can, sure, she will come. Moving to reports, the mayor, council administrator, a reconciliation report. We'll talk about there.
I appreciate having that.
Anything to add, Chris?
No?
Otherwise, quarterly expense fund, balance report.
A lot of numbers.
Yes. Auditor's happy though that we have them. Not moving on, the mayor's report, two things. Just finished my last junior achievement class that I did with the third graders, Mrs. Hand's class, for 5 successive weeks. That was an interesting process. And
Did you pass?
I passed. I was in charge of filling out the certificate, so yes, I made sure I passed. But got to know 24 third graders, and had connections with 6 of them before that I realized I knew their parents, or I knew them some way through a variety of things, so those were pretty cool. And sign up to do it again next year. Last month, we did a proclamation for Hennington Place, and their focus was on mental health awareness. And as a result of that, we invited to photo opportunity with mayors in Lynn County at Nubo this coming Friday morning. So we're continuing wearing that mental health support T-shirt that day or whatever. So that relationship, even though they're outside Mount Vernon, we are very much a partner in our community. So those are the two things I was going to mention from mayor report. Council reports.
I just want to mention something with Cornell and our relationship with Cornell, and handed this off to Nathan. And I know that Jesse has this as well. They have their summer research program, and they typically have between 50 and 100 students. If they have fewer than 100 students, they do not open up the food service. And so what they have chosen to do is bring a food truck to the Cornell campus. We'll be in the circle by the Commons on May 20th, May 27th, June 3rd, June 24th, and July 8th. 5 different food trucks, so there's a variety from 11 o'clock until 1, and anybody in town, Lisbon, Mount Vernon, anybody's invited. If it's rainy, you can go sit inside the Commons. If it's nice, you sit outside, do whatever you choose to. But they would like to have people from the community come because it's good for the trucks. It guarantees the business. Although Tyler George, who's heading this up, Dr. George, has guaranteed each food truck 40. I think it was what he said of the 50 students. So they know what they're getting, but it'd be nice if the people would show and families bring their kids if they're out for summer break or something. So that's all I have to say.
Kind of along the line of Cornell, I've got several communications which I think I've shared with council for information and not for discussion or consideration. But there may be more coming with that as they, as the search team decides how much involvement they want locally. And I think I include the city staff and the department heads and so on. So that may be something, if you're interested in, you might be able to get involved with that, but you know what I know about it now. Everything's been passed on to you. So I appreciate the gesture and see what happens with that. Committee reports. About the city administrator's report. You want to open up the pool?
It's
Discussion?
debatable. He had to. The mayor did ask earlier today about the pool. The heater is still not operational. One of the pipes broke again, even though the contractor is the one that winterized it for us. So, working on that. We still have pushed forward with training, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of everybody that has to get in the
They have
water.
to get in the pool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
The slide is done, and the mayor asked me how I felt about it, and I said I will let you know on the first day. If I get 0 incidents reports, then I will be happy. So they're really
Gonna go down, test it?
I watched somebody else do it. I will not.
Unless the heater's working.
No, exactly. I will gladly volunteer other people for that.
Well, if the pipe was repaired and now it's broken, can we go back to the person who fixed it?
They
Is it
have
under
to.
contract?
They have to fix it.
Okay, good.
And that's been kind of the issue. Right now, we are on the cusp of, do we seek liquidated damages? Do we seek extended warranties? There's been some good, that obviously has come out of it. The pool looks great. I think when everything is functioning, we'll be very happy. The play structure in the 0 entry is still not operational, and I did put the designer on notice that that's a them problem. So it'll just be more work for myself, Lori, Matt, moving forward. It's not something that I think, general public is going to notice all the time, other than a feature might be down for a day during pool operations. But the grates, the mayor asked me about the grates. I told him even if the state passed them, I'm not. So that's not what we paid for, and we won't pay full price for that. So we have a little bit of a battle on our hands. Moving forward, Woodruff has been responsive. It's their subs that have done the work, so they understand that they're kind of on the hook for it. But yeah, it's frustrating that we have to spend so much staff time there.
Been the raspberry seed in your wisdom tooth long enough.
Yeah,
I have never
Nathan's heard that before.
the alternative is, as we stated, probably the $14 million new pool that we
for that inclusive report there, and that's where we're at. Any questions? Chris, at this time? Anything else that needs to come before this council at this time? Otherwise, I think we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
I just couldn't remember. I made myself any better if I would have bought the hook and well one.
That we did last year.
Well,
Anything?
some of it, yes.
I was in it
It looks
twice.
like